Hey friends! It is week 9, or it will be tomorrow anyways, and I feel like there's not a lot to report, but I didn't want a week to go by without doing an update right now, so at least for now. So that's what's going on. So right now, or I guess as of tomorrow, but probably right now as well, baby is the size of Carl's grape soda pin. We've taken to calling the baby Embry as an embryo, although technically I think now that we're in week 9, baby graduates to fetus status rather than embryo. So we might need to change that. And then if you're not a Disney person and you want something a little more relatable, apparently Embry is also as big as a tater tot, a wireless earbud, a gumball, or a green olive. I feel like all of those things are slightly different sizes, but I guess thereabouts is how big she is. 31 weeks to go. My goodness. Yeah, as far as symptoms, I am not sleeping worth a damn. Like, I'm so tired all day, every day. Come about 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I have a hard crash where I need to lie down on the couch. If given the opportunity, I will fall asleep on the couch, although that very, very rarely happens. Not because I don't want to, but because I'm rarely have the opportunity to do it. I have taken a couple naps this week, and if you've been watching my vlogs for any length of time pre-pregnancy, I'm always talking about what a terrible napper I am, how it's very, very difficult for me to nap, and no matter how tired I am, it's almost impossible. These days, that's not the case. These days, I am very much embracing any chance I get to nap because I need it. I'm so beat. It's just, I'm always so uncomfortable at night. I feel like I'm sleeping, but very, very lightly. And then when I do sleep, I'm having weird dreams. Not necessarily bad dreams, but just odd dreams. And they're keeping me from like fully, properly resting. So sleep has always been funky for me. I just wish that it weren't the case right now because I'm sleeping for 2. I'm literally building a human and it's exhausting. So, but whatever, it is what it is. The crying continues. I'm crying so much, almost like, not constantly, but like every little thing is setting me off. And just actually a couple days ago, I was talking to my husband about something I was watching on YouTube, and he stopped me and he was like, wait, who are we talking about? Because you started talking like if I know, like I'm not seeing the video, so I don't know who you're talking about. And I immediately burst into tears, and he ran over from where he was. He was like on a ladder fixing something, and he ran down and he was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to make you cry. I just didn't know what you were talking about. And I was apologizing right back saying, no, it's me. I know I'm overreacting. You literally did nothing wrong. Like, ignore me, please. Like, it's fine. You've done nothing to justify all of this. I just can't help it. So I'm very self-aware. I'm very aware of the fact that I am just a hormonal ball of bleh right now. But even so, I can't help it. I'm just bursting into tears all over the place, randomly. Happy tears, sad tears. I don't discriminate. It just is what it is. It's part of the situation. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had a little bit of anxiety the last couple of days, just worried about the baby because I've been having like funky belly pains, discomfort, what have you. And I'm very aware of the fact that like digestively I'm a mess right now. So I try to remind myself that very likely what I'm feeling is digestive. But there are times where like I'll lie down and then try to like shift position around and see if it helps. And sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, that's when I get anxious. I did, however, Google, which is typically a terrible idea, right? But I did Google like around 8 or 9 weeks, is it normal to have discomfort, pain? It's not really pain. I hesitate to call it pain, but it's definitely a discomfort of an awareness of my uterus, almost like a heaviness in my uterus. And even saying this out loud right now, it's like, well, obviously your uterus is like doubled in size. There's all sorts of things happening in your uterus. Of course, it's normal to be aware of it, right? And sure enough, Google is like, hey, listen, your blood flow is going wild right now in that area. The area has grown. There is a person growing in it. It's very, very normal and natural to be hyper aware of your uterus right now. Like, that's fully to be expected. So I'm trying my best to assuage my anxiety and remind myself how fully normal everything that I'm experiencing is. I'm also trying to remind myself that the pregnancies that I've lost in the past have been entirely different to this, because the reason I lost them is because the pregnancies never developed in the first place. The eggs were not viable. And so the pregnancy was never viable, and it was only natural and normal that that was not going to become a baby because a baby never properly developed. That's not the case this time. I've seen my baby and I've seen her heartbeat and she's there. And so it's very, unless you've been through that sort of trauma, it's probably hard to understand the fact that, rationally speaking, I understand all the reasons why this is not those pregnancies, and this pregnancy is not going to go that way. But rationale aside, the trauma is there and it can still be very, very scary. So I am dealing with that as best I can. And also reminding myself of the unfortunate fact, the unfortunate truth, that even if something does go wrong right now, there's literally nothing anybody can or will do to, like, there's nothing to be done about it. It just is what it is. So there's no sense in stressing about it. Stressing about it is only going to put stress physically on the body, on the baby, and so on. And so all I can do is just continue to remind myself all the reasons why this is not those pregnancies, and just to try to live moment by moment. I know right now everything's fine, and that's the best we can do. And you know, it just is what it is. We still have 3 weeks before our next scan, which is happening in early September. However, next week, probably the week after, to be honest, next week I'll be 10 weeks, but I'm probably going to wait until I'm like 10 and a half weeks, mostly because I turned 10 weeks over the weekend, to do the NIPT test, which is going to give us information about the baby's chromosomal makeup and just making sure that everything is good there. And so that's the next time we're going to have any type of monitoring. And it's not going to show me the actual baby, but it's something. So I'm going to call my doctor or message her or something in the next week or so, just to be absolutely certain that that order is there at the lab, so that when I go the week that follows or in the days that follow. Hito's right here, by the way. I'm sure you've been hearing his iPad this whole time. Yeah, so that when I go, I know for sure that like it's all there waiting for me and I'm not going to have to come back or like have any other sort of delay, because as it is, those test results take at least 3 days, but they could take up to 2 weeks. So that's why I don't want to wait too long to go and do it, because I want to make sure that the results are in before I see my doctor again at the 12-week scan. But I also don't want to go too early, because if you go too early, it's possible that you'll get an all clear when potentially it's not all clear. And obviously I want an all clear, but I want it to be a reliable, accurate all clear. So I feel like waiting until 10 weeks, 3 days, or however, you know, I feel like that's a reasonable thing to do, rather than going right at 10 weeks or like right before the 10 weeks. And yeah, that's the next thing that's happening. So there's still over a week until that happens, but all the same. This week though, the main focus has been on clothes. I already bought a couple of maternity things just because I want to have them available whenever I need them. And they're just more comfy anyways right now. But I'm running into a bit of an issue, which is interesting. When I was pregnant with my son 13, 14 years ago at this rate, 13 years ago, it was very difficult to find plus size maternity clothes, but it was not impossible. It was just harder. And back then I was wearing, I think, a size 24 or 26 when I got pregnant. So I was plus size. And I still had options. These days, as you guys might know, I lost between 40 and 50 pounds before falling pregnant again because I was preparing for IVF. And so my pre-pregnancy size is like 18-20. So depending on the store you shop at, I'm either at the highest possible end of the sizing, or I could shop at a plus size store also and for sure find my size. Because I'm still considered straight size, even though I'm at the highest possible straight size, I've been able to find leggings, dresses, tops, etc., even undies at Old Navy. I've found some stuff at Torrid, although Torrid literally has like 3 maternity items and one of them is out of stock. Nothing at Target. Nothing at Target maternity, which is ironic because plus sizes at Target are typically kept in the maternity section of a store. Next time you're in Target walking around, check that out. You'll find that the plus sizes and the maternity are actually placed together, which is really insulting actually. And then also ironic and kind of ridiculous that there is no plus size maternity, as if big girls don't also get pregnant. But the point is that somehow it's become more difficult now, 13 years later, to find plus size maternity clothes, even though I'm 50 pounds lighter now than I was when I got pregnant with my son. So talk about walking backwards, right? Like, so much body positivity and body acceptance has happened in the last several years, and big girls can wear what they want, and big girls are getting more clothing options, and so on and so on and so on. But it's like the maternity industry, I guess, has super fallen behind. Places like Motherhood Maternity, where I used to get stuff from when I was pregnant with my son, they no longer carry plus sizes. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it should be so much easier now for me to find clothes that fit, considering how much smaller of a body I am in than I was 13 years ago. And yet it's harder now to find stuff than it used to be. And it feels like that's completely backwards and it shouldn't be that way at all. But it is what it is. If I'm able to find other things besides the basics that I found at Old Navy, I guess I'll let you guys know. And I don't know, maybe I'll do a haul or something. Probably not, because there's so few things that it doesn't even merit a haul. But that's the gist of what's been going on this week, is trying to find stuff to wear while also trying to distract myself from my brain buzzing with negativity when there's really no need for it, because I am fine. The baby's fine. Everything is fine. So I'll be back, I guess, next week with another update. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and continuing to follow these videos. I'll be back really, really soon, and we'll chat some more then. Bye!